Hey, I'm Jordan. I'm in recovery for about 3 years and I'm from Findlay, Ohio. Now, I'm not saying I went out every night and every day when I was younger. I
Mhm.
still had to go to school. I still had to keep it a secret from my friends. I played sports. I didn't want to get in trouble. So, as long as I can keep this secret and then live another life on the side, when I was 16, I went to visit my brother, right? And we got pulled over, me and a couple friends. And the officer was like, you guys need to take some breathalyzers. And I got to see my brother get taken out of a cop car and handcuffed along with some other people. And then the officer was like, okay, well, you're not legally drunk, but you're young and you have been drinking. Do you want to go to the tank with everyone else or do you want to call your parents? And I was like, oh, hell no, I would just go to jail.
Right,
Like
right.
God put me in the tank. So I had to call my parents and I had to tell them at 2:30 in the morning, hey, we're in the tank in another state. So that was the worst. So then I'm sitting in the police station. All the officers are snickering at us, or at me, because I'm the only one there. Like,
Mhm.
oh, look at this guy. And I felt really low at the time. And I'm telling myself, oh, you're never going to drink. You're never going to drink, whatever. Fast forward, a couple stories here and there that are your typical blackout drunk, ruin relationships, and then I turned 21 and I just for some reason decide I'm gonna drink the bar closed for some reason, right?
Mhm.
And I'm gonna drive home. And I'm about a mile. I can walk home from this point. And I kind of swerve a little bit on a country road and I hit dead center in a telephone pole,
Mhm.
right? And I hit my head on the windshield and I like cracked the windshield, really dent my front end, and for some reason, I just smashed my car. A little bit to the left, I would have went into a storm drain and probably died.
Ooh.
A little bit to the right, I would have rolled my Jeep into a field
Right.
and probably died.
Mm.
Luckily, I just came out with a little bit of a concussion. As I'm sitting there in the middle of the road like a jackass, I'm telling my parents as they're coming to get me, nope, I deserve to go to jail. Well, the ambulance comes. I'm trying to tell the ambulance, I'm fine, I'm sober, asking them all kinds of dumb questions like, who's your favorite president?
Mm.
Trying to prove to them that I'm not drunk.
Mhm.
They take me to the hospital to evaluate me, and it turns out a bunch of hours later, I had a blood alcohol level of a 0.297.
Wow.
That's after the accident in a
Wow.
couple hours at 21, so I had to do a couple days in a work release program.
Mhm.
And it was one of those where I'm like, okay, I'm going to get my life together. Lost another relationship in the process, lost a few more friendships, and I'm like, whatever, it's no big deal. And then fast forward, we move out to California,
Mm.
right? It's my birthday. I'm super excited. I just got tickets to WrestleMania. Why not, man? Check it out.
Mhm.
We're in San Francisco where the 49ers play at Levi Stadium.
Mhm.
Now, on the way there, we're pre-gaming, taking shots, drinking beers, smoking weed. I'm pretty sure we did some coke on the side. I'm not sure.
Mhm.
Just blackout drunk. Get arrested in the stadium. I remember waking up in the drunk tank, on the floor, underneath a bench, my head next to the person who's throwing up in the toilet. That's disgusting,
Mhm.
right? A bunch of dudes just all drunk and passed out. I'm there for about 8 hours. My wife, or my fiance at the time, doesn't know where I'm at.
Mm.
I can't even remember her phone number. We've been together for almost 6 years at this
Wow.
time. I can't remember her phone number. I have to call my mom,
Mm.
wake her up. There's a 3 hour difference, so
Mm.
I don't even know what time it is. I'm like, hey, can you call my girlfriend at the time and tell her where I'm at?
Right.
So then she has to get a hotel room, right? She has a final that she has to miss because my dumbass is in the tank. We get out, I pass out all the way there, all the way home. So from Levi Stadium, so San Jose to LA, which is about 5 hours, I'm sleeping. She's supposed to be studying for her final. Get a letter in the mail. I'm banned from Levi Stadium.
Oh.
Yeah, that's cool. I can never go back to watch the Niners play. I don't like the Niners, but I can
Right.
never go watch them play.
Wow.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then fast forward a few more years, right? My daughter's about 2. No, she's just born. And I get in a fight with a friend. I have to wake his wife up to drop me off, right? She goes to drop me off at home. Instead of getting dropped off at my door, I need to get out of the car and I gotta walk home. On this walk home, we live in like a little cul-de-sac area. I start throwing my wallet, my keys. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just throwing stuff because I'm super drunk.
Right.
I go to open my door. It's locked.
Yeah.
And as my door's locked, I'm like, oh, okay, my wife has now locked me out of the house. I rip the screen door off, start banging on the door. Okay, she doesn't want to answer, that's fine. I'm going to show her. I walk around and I'm going to kick in the glass sliding door, right? I go to kick in the glass sliding door, I miss, hit my head on the glass sliding door, and just sit there defeated. The neighbor comes out, calls the cops on me, because I had attempted to break into a 96-year-old woman's house. My house was the next one over.
Oh no.
Yep. So I got arrested in front of my daughter's window.
Oh.
Yeah. And that was New Year's Eve.
Oof.
Yeah. My wife's father had passed away the year before, the next day on New Year's Day. Or that was his birthday.
Yeah.
So I spent the night in the drunk tank, another fine, apology letters to an old woman. I was looking at a B&E, luckily I didn't.
Right.
Like, I had some serious issues. Didn't stop me. So eventually, one night I went out for 3 days straight, just kept drinking and partying. And then I just came home and my wife had enough. She was standing at the door and had my daughter there and she was ready to leave.
Wow.
I mean, at this time we had been together for almost 7 years, married and dating. She had been through most of it. She had pretty much known me, what she likes to call on a liquid diet. I didn't eat, man. I was super skinny. Luckily for her, she never saw me when I was smoking or doing ripping lines of coke or anything like that. So to her, I just had a liquid diet. But anybody else, I disconnected from those friends a long time ago. So I lost a lot of friendships. I lost a lot of relationships. Luckily, my wife stuck with me through it all. When my wife was ready to leave, I told her, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get my shit together. So I went to a meeting, right? And as I'm terrified, I go down into the basement and it's a bunch of old guys. I'm talking old guys. And I'm sitting down terrified, don't know what I'm getting into. And this old guy goes, have you had enough? But like he slams his fist on the table, right? And he's staring at me with these death eyes. And I'm like, what in the hell? What am I doing here? That's 28, 29 at the time. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. So I sit through the meeting and I'm like, I don't know. But we had tickets to go to a concert that weekend. It was in Chicago, and we had already made plans to go to Wrigleyville and Bar Hop. But in my head, I was like, all right, I'll be like a week clean. If I fail, it's no big deal. I'll start again on Monday, right? But I'm going to give it my best effort. So we went, and on the way there, I was driving, and I kind of had that battle back and forth. Like, do you really want to start off this way? Maybe really try, maybe don't try. I don't know. And we get to the first bar, right? And I'm sitting there, and it was fine because it was like one of those higher upscale bars, which I didn't really care for. Give me the grimy dirtball bars. That's where I thrived. So it was cool. And then we get to those type of bars. And I remember kind of sweating a lot. I would go up to the bar, I'd ask for water, and then I would force myself to sit and stare at the bar. I don't know why, but I stared at the bar. And I would watch people come in and order, and I would see everyone get drunk, and I would grip my water, and I would sweat. My hands would shake. I didn't know what the hell I was doing, but I just did it. And I went 4 hours doing that. Went to the concert, had an okay time because there was still alcohol everywhere. We finally went back. Some of the people we were with were drunk. They passed out. And then I woke up super early because I couldn't sleep. I woke up early in the middle of Chicago, went for a run, and I ran to Wrigley Stadium where the White Sox play, or where the Cubs play. And I got to watch the sunrise. And when the sun came up, I just kind of told myself, like, yo, you fucking got this. And then I kind of made it back, and then since there, it was fine. The following weekend, I went to Las Vegas, did the same thing. I told myself, you are going to change, but you're also not going to change who you are. And so I put myself in these situations so I can tell myself, you got this.
Yeah.
It's terrible. I don't know why I do it, but it's something that I need to do. When I was, before I got into recovery, I worked as a CNC programmer, 12 hours in a factory. Hated it. Great money, great benefits. Got me where I needed. Had a long discussion with my wife while she was in New York, working with people, working with the hospitals during COVID. And we talked about me doing something in recovery. So I went through the trainings for that and never looked back, man.
Did you do peer support?
I went through peer support first, got my CDCA, and trust me, I'm proud of all those letters, the peer support letters, the CDCA letters. But what I tell all the people I work with now, I'm more proud of my street cred, man. If it wasn't for me going through my struggles, I couldn't help anybody do anything. Me and my wife have one of the best relationships I could ever ask for. My daughter and I have a wonderful relationship, and because I was sober, I got to have a son. You know, that's great. If I wasn't, I would never have another kid. Me and my mom have a fantastic relationship. My father recently passed away, but we had a really good relationship. And then me and my brother also have a good relationship. Everybody else, they respect the fact that I no longer drink. You know, at first it was, oh, you're good, just have one or two. And I kept telling them no. So it was kind of hard for them. But now it's, okay, you don't drink, that's fine. But other than that, yeah, relationships are fine. If people want to be a part of my life, great, I'll accept it. If they don't, let's keep it pushing.
What are some dreams that have come true for you?
Dreams that have come true for me? Honestly, just helping people. Helping people that want to get clean and sober. You know, when I first got into this field, one of the things I talked about with my wife was I want to be able to help somebody who, I don't want to say has nothing, but is starting from the bottom, get to where they were. And I've recently done that. I mean, I helped somebody get fresh out of the gate, to being married, to finding a job that they really wanted. And we went through the trials and tribulations to do that together. And that's awesome. You know, I was there every step of the way. We worked hard together. You know, now other dreams would be like getting programs up and running. So just being able to help somebody who thinks that there is no hope. When I was first starting out in recovery, there was so much that I wanted. You know, I wanted to get my 30-day coin. I got it. And then it was 60. I got it. I wanted to have a better relationship with my wife. I have a great relationship with my wife. I wanted to be able to come home every night and tuck my daughter in. If I can't, I FaceTime her, but I try to. You know, I tuck my son in every night. He fights me every night, but we still do it, you know. I wanted to work in the field of recovery. I'm working in the field of recovery, you know. My goals, I want to stay on the same path that I'm on. I know it doesn't sound like I'm reaching for the stars, but man, when you're living a life of alcoholism or addiction, the stars are pretty dark, man. Clarity. So like when I would get really drunk or really fucked up, like I would have all these emotions come through and I wouldn't know where they came from. And I would fight with everyone that wanted to be around me at that time. I didn't know why, right? So then I went to the doctor. And then I went the first time and they're like, oh, you have PTSD. And I was like, okay, it makes sense. Then I went the second time and they're like, oh, you have anxiety and depression. And then I went the third time. He's like, oh, well, you have bipolar too. And I told him, look, man, I'm done coming to you. You keep giving me stuff. But it's clarity to realize, like, okay, so you are drinking to mask some of these mental health issues that you have. Let's fix it. Let's work on it the right way. I have an understanding of my spirituality, right? So for me, it was find your higher power. Well, for the longest time, it was my higher power let me down so much. So how can I ask my higher power to lift me up? Well, for me, it was how can I make a change if I don't believe in a higher power. Who am I doing this? What am I doing this for? My daughter has always been my higher power. She will forever be my higher power. And then something that also that I think I'm going to carry with me for a long time is that when my dad passed away recently, I was lucky enough to be able to be with him alone. And I pulled out my 3-year coin and I slipped it into his fingers. And I told him, I was like, look, I've made it 3 years, and hopefully sometime next month I'll have 4 years. You don't have to worry about me. I'm on the right track. I was able to share that moment with him. You know, that's one of the last things that he heard. You go into the world of addiction, you're going to go for one hell of a ride. It's up to you on where you want to get off. Is it here? Is it there? But you have the choice. When do you want to stop? And it's like I said earlier, there's gonna come a point in time where the sky is so dark and you're like, there's nothing positive coming. You have to look past it. Even if it's just for 1 second, something positive will happen. Even if it's the fact that you're taking another breath, you have to see the positive of it. If you're trying, you've already started. You know, you've done the work. You put it in your mind that you want to get sober. Now continue to try.